on this. 1, 2, 3. Yes. Okay, welcome back, everybody, to For the Republic. We have another great show for you guys today. We have a lot of topics to discuss, some, I guess, controversial, some not. We'll be talking Henry Kissinger passing away at the age of 100 this week. George Santos, the New York congressman, expelled from the House of Representatives this week. We'll be talking the debate of the century, not DeSantis versus Newsom, which was on Fox. Someone had to remind me. And then we'll also be talking about the immigration crisis, the riots in Ireland, immigration crisis in Europe, among other topics. Also, what's happening here in the United States with the a lot of migrants all of a sudden are all Palestinian supporters and Hamas supporters. So we'll be talking all about that today. It's you, it's me. You know my name, Lewis LV. That's Karen Deep right there. What's up, man?
That's your name?
That's my name. If you didn't know,
I thought your name was Pablo.
oh, that's my nickname. That's my middle name.
You all look alike.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, just like all blacks look alike.
I was laughing in the beginning because like the way we were clapping, people are gonna think we're retarded or something.
What do you mean? We
You were
are.
clapping like you were clapping like 8 times. I'm like, what the
Yeah,
fuck is he doing?
bro. Yeah. So I just had a little announcement for everybody. We are looking to switch our recording platform because we're here on Zoom if you haven't noticed. And we don't
Because
really
we're
like Zoom that
cheap.
much. I mean, it's good, but it's not as good as we want it to be. So we'll be switching over to make this all look more professional. I'm looking for ways to make this be more professional, so more
Zoom
people.
is Zoom is for beginners. So if anyone was to do any kind of podcast and you don't really have that kind of money, just start
No,
with Zoom.
actually,
Start
no,
with
no,
something
no.
small.
Don't go on Zoom actually, because Zoom is more expensive than StreamYard and Riverside. Just go to Riverside and
Wait,
Stream.
is it really?
Yeah, that's why I told you, but it doesn't matter the cost. That's why I said I don't really care about the price because they're both cheaper.
Fuck, never mind.
Yeah.
I'll take
Now,
that
with
back.
Zoom, if you don't like us saying this on your platform, you can give us a sponsorship, and I won't say anything bad again.
Man, you might as well do Skype
Yeah,
if anyone uses that anymore.
just do it in person. Yeah, exactly. If anybody uses Skype, I haven't seen anybody use Skype in like 10 years.
I haven't seen anyone use Uvu. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh my God, that's still around.
That was my middle school days, man.
They're
Fuck.
what the fucking egg? It was like the egg shaped thing.
Yeah, yeah, that
Yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah. I remember that shit. All right, let's move into Henry Kissinger passed away at the age of 100. The this was a man. This was the only Secretary of State to be um, the National Security Advisor, but also the um, the Secretary of State at the same time. Henry Kissinger, born in Germany in the 1920s and moved to the United States at the age of 15 at when Hitler took over, or in Nazi Germany. He was a Harvard graduate. He became well known as a foreign and geopolitical specialist, and he was then hired by the Nixon administration as the National Security Advisor and then became Secretary of State. And this was so long ago that even Joe Biden voted to confirm Henry Kissinger as Secretary of State. That's how old Joe Biden is.
That's
That's how
crazy when you think
that's
about
how
that.
yeah,
Yeah,
think about it. That was in 1973. This man is 100 years old. He just died at 100 years
it's
old. And Joe
crazy.
Biden, President of the United States, was there to confirm him in the Senate when he was like, I mean, he was probably in like his 40s or 50s when this happened. Yeah, he was like in his 50s,
These people
late
need to go
40s,
back to the
50s.
Stone Age.
So yeah. Um, this was a headline from the Rolling Stones, the famous news online publication that obviously has a bent towards progressives and left wing people. They're not for conservatives. Unless you like rock music and shit, you're not going on Rolling Stone. This was their headline. Good riddance. Henry Kissinger, war criminal beloved by America's ruling class, finally dies. The infamy of Nixon's foreign policy architect sits eternally beside that of history's worst mass murderers. A deeper shame attaches to the country that celebrates him. Yeah, that's him testifying to the Senate in his era. Um,
A lot of people mention about his war crimes. Uh, how did it start with him and Nixon and Vietnam, especially with Cambodia and all that?
Oh,
I've also
well,
noticed even Bangladesh. I think Bangladesh and around that region was also affected
well,
by
he
Kissinger.
was an architect of. It wasn't just those places, but he was involved, and not just he. I mean, he led the State Department, and he was the national security advisor. So he was in the president's ear, and he was one of the most influential people building the foreign policy apparatus, the foreign policy doctrine that would be applied to these places. He was involved in Pakistan. They were involved in Chile. They were involved in everywhere where the
Yeah.
Soviets were involved. They were there, and that's I think the progressives and the socialists despise them the most for that because they understood they knew what they were doing, and they understood that this was a guy who knew what they were doing. He knew the game they were playing. They knew how they moved. They knew that, even if after World War II, this is an example, not to Kissinger, but just how they moved. After World War II and after Churchill and Stalin divide up the world, and Churchill says the Greece has to be a democratic Western country, they can't be part of the Eastern Bloc. Stalin says yes, but in just a couple years later, Greece is a socialist country because the Soviets sent agitators and influencers to Greece to make it a communist country, to incite riots and a civil war that led to a coup that installed a socialist communist government in Greece. He knew that. He understood that because Henry Kissinger was a man who grew up in struggle, he grew up in divide, who grew up in a violent era, who grew up in the battlegrounds of future wars. He grew up in Germany in the Weimar Republic, which was incredibly poor. He then grew up, he was born in it, and he grew up in a country that eventually adopted Nazism, National Socialism under Hitler. And his family left that, and they came to the United States, which was still going a depression, and then soon found itself involved in a world war. After that, it had the nuclear bomb. It bombed Japan, and then it had a war in Korea. So he grew up in
Yeah.
an era studying all these things and studying, and he was also a very intelligent man, which the left often there's always this thing that they like to attribute that when they don't like a person, that person has to be stupid. So they always mock Putin's intelligence. They always mock Hitler.
Yeah.
They say Hitler couldn't have been smart. But you have to be smart because no one stupid would be winning elections in Germany. The Germans aren't stupid.
And their fights.
And then how would they be? I mean, you can't be so stupid to effectively build up a military without the world noticing or recognizing it, and so clever that you can take over Poland. You have to be clever. You can't be stupid. But they like to do that because they attribute everything bad. They attribute themselves to be good. So they attribute every good quality to themselves and say, we're the smart ones, we're the moral ones,
So it's
we're the good
so it's
ones.
always the good versus bad,
So for
pretty
them,
much.
it's that. But not only that, it's everything. Every quality that's good and bad has to be has to be distributed where it has to go. So if you're on the evil side, what they portray as evil, you have to be stupid, you have to be ugly, you have to be immoral, you have to be you have to be everything evil, you have to be everything bad. But they're good, so they have to be moral. They're the one who care. They're moral. They care about the working class. They care about the unions. They care about women. They care about minorities. They claim they care about free speech and freedom of religion. That's what they claim. I'm not saying that it is, but that's what they claim. In their worldview, in their fantasy, that's what they believe in.
Mm-hmm.
Churchill, I mean not Churchill, I mean Churchill too, but Kissinger was not a part of that school. Kissinger had a liberal bent. Let's not get that wrong. And I don't mean liberal in the way that you might think, like, oh, he was for abortion. Like, no, I'm saying liberal bent in terms of that he appreciated uh, a peace movement. He appreciated freedom of speech, freedom of religion. But those things didn't really matter when it was on the world stage. He had a realist view. He was a student and a big proponent of realism on the foreign stage and foreign policy, meaning
Sure.
effectively in basic terms, you were dealt you played the cards you were dealt. So if the Soviets were helping elect uh, uh, Santiago Allende in Chile, a socialist who governed, by the way, who governed and he disregarded democracy. By the way, the socialists who defend Allende because the CIA and under Nixon and all of them put in Pinochet. They like to ignore the fact that Allende ignored the Constitution, ignored democracy, did not use democracy to get in, but then disregarded it completely, and even broke every single constitutional law he could, not caring that the Supreme Court of Chile condemned him. He didn't care about that, but the progressives don't care because they don't like the fact that a dictator came in or a military coup happened, even though that's what they do in every country in the world. That's what the progressives,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean progressives are just socialists. They call themselves progressives, but they're not. They're just socialists and communists under a new name. They just changed their name.
Right.
So I think he saw that and said, well, the alternative, this is better than the alternative. So to counter a Soviet, a communist Soviet Union, and to counter a socialist communist India, what do? They install a pro, or they help install a pro-American, pro-Western leader in Pakistan. And yeah, most of the times these are military coups. But why do the progressives never condemn the military coups of or the military, not the military coup, but the dictatorships in the Soviet Union and in China and in Korea and in Africa many of the times, but they never condemn, but they want to condemn a pro-Western leader in Pakistan, or they want to condemn the Shah of Iran, or they want to condemn um, Israel's another topic, but they want to condemn Pinochet, but they don't condemn their own socialist dictators like the one in Zimbabwe, like the one in Congo, like the one in Egypt, like the ones in the Middle East. They don't do that. It was always that hypocrisy. And then it gets to the war crime. So they believe that he not only was he a bad person because of all the interventions, but these were not interventions. These were interventions, but these were played on a macro level, big picture chess game of the Soviets strike and install a puppet government here. We have to do the same and do this to protect ourselves because as much as we can eliminate the communist threat from all these countries, we'll be safer at home. That was the belief. That was the belief. That as
Okay.
if we counter, and that was the belief in Vietnam. That's what led us to Vietnam. That was the diplomatic foreign policy uh, underlining that drove us to Vietnam was if we can get the communists out of Vietnam, we'll be safer at home from the threat of communism, from the specter of worldwide communism. They're half right, obviously, but it wasn't well done. That was the other point in retrospect. Although there's people who debate that for the Vietnam. Vietnam's a different subject. We'll talk about that another day. But that was part
Mm-hmm.
of it. Then it came to the way he did it. So in terms of Vietnam, remember Nixon inherits Vietnam. There's a reason why Lyndon Johnson doesn't run for re-election. It's because he is at the time one of the most distrusted and disliked presidents of all time. He has approval ratings in the 10s and 20s, worse than Joe Biden,
Oh,
because people have
oh God.
realized and discovered that the entire Vietnam project was a complete lie. The Battle of Tonkin didn't exist. The Bay that didn't exist. That didn't happen. The Vietnamese didn't attack a U.S. ship and drive us to war. We went to war in Vietnam against communism, which I believe is the right thing. What happened afterwards is where the mistakes were made. Also, the other thing was not just that people realized that, but second, the way Vietnam went was a ton of men came back killed, injured, and a lot of men came back with PTSD from the constant bombing in places. I mean, we dropped a ton of bombs on Vietnam and in Cambodia and in places like Laos too. And people started hearing of these things and they just didn't like it. The country didn't want a war. The country didn't like the draft, where men after high school were effectively most men after high school being shipped off to Vietnam to fight a war in a place they couldn't find on a map, in a place that they never wanted to be in, where they were either getting killed, they were shooting themselves in the foot to come back home. That's how bad it was. That you would rather shoot yourself in the foot to get back home.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, and and they were trying to and they didn't want to be there. There's so many movies you look at and the desperation, the lack of actually where the army and the military in Vietnam didn't buy in to the cause. They realized that it was a failing cause. That it didn't matter what they did. It always seemed like the Vietnamese, the Ho Chi Minh, the um, they were always they were always ahead of them. That's what they believed. Um, so that was part of the so they inherited that. They inherited that national attitude. And that was a reason why the Republicans and Nixon won. Nixon was viewed as he was the vice president. Nixon was the vice president under Eisenhower. He was viewed as a statesman. He was viewed as someone with experience who could get things done. Who they could trust. He was from the other side. Not that they liked him, but that they viewed him as someone, oh, we can trust him. We weren't in Vietnam when he was around, right? He was vice president and he went against, obviously, we know that Nixon lost to Kennedy and maybe things would have been different. Um, but also maybe Nixon would have been different then because Nixon was a different man. He was involved in politics more. So he was a different man then than when he was in 68. I think it's 68 or 72 when they win. I think they win in 72. Do they win 72, 72, 76? No, 768, yeah. So they win in 68. On 1968, Nixon becomes president, and that's when they start getting out of Vietnam.
How close was his relationship with Henry Nixon?
Oh, very close. I mean, he would. That's how close he was. He was so close, and he was so well trusted, and he guided him so much that he was not only Secretary of State, or not only was he National Security Advisor, but he became Secretary of State at the same time. He's the only person to ever do that, to hold those two positions. Remember, the National Security Advisor doesn't have to be appointed by Congress. He's appointed by the president. End of story. The Secretary of State has to be approved by Congress. So he was Secretary. He was the National Security Advisor and then Secretary of State. He had both positions at the same time. So he was the leading diplomat, the leading author of the foreign policy project in the midst of the Cold War. And he is the father of détente, opening up relations and attempting to ease relations, cool things down, and creating a dialogue. So he was the reason why we started to talk to China. He believed that it was crucial that the United States have a not friendly or be friends with China, because Democrats and liberals and progressives have this notion that if you have a relationship, you're buddy buddies. You're not. That's not the truth. But he believed that
Right.
it was important that we have a
Especially in
relationship.
politics.
He believed it was important that we just have a relationship and that it be a positive, where we could exchange ideas, we could trade. That it was important that the Chinese, alienated by the Russians because Mao Zedong and Stalin and Khrushchev had a falling out, and we're not on the best of terms. And that's why they've always had this complicated relationship until now. Xi Jinping and Putin are friends, but back then, Mao Zedong and
Mm-hmm.
Stalin were not that close, and Khrushchev and
Interesting.
Mao Zedong were not that aligned. So they had issues, personal. Um, and so he believed, and so Kissinger, clever and understanding that, something the progressives hate, believed that it was important and crucial for us to get involved in that and say, hey, we can be friends, we can talk. Can't we talk? Can't we meet with you and discuss nuclear proliferation? Can we discuss trade? Can we discuss Hong Kong's status? Can we discuss Taiwan? Can we discuss foreign policy? Can we discuss trade, potential economic opportunity? Can we showcase the American system to the Chinese? Can we open up China's ports to the Americans? Things like that. And that was the beginning of the end of the poor monotheistic Chinese communist state as it was then. And that began the China we know today. That was the found. He is the father of that movement,
Ah,
which is why he was disliked by conservatives.
well, little fucker.
Henry Kissinger was disliked by both sides. Now, I don't think Henry Kissinger did that because he said, I like the Chinese communists and I think that they're great and we should make them rich. I think he used it as
Yeah,
a
yeah.
play, as a hedge, and said, we're countering the Soviets. Let's make the Chinese our friends and see what we can do with them. Maybe they won't be communists in 20 years. If we give them, because the idea was that if you give economic access, if you export capitalism and economic development and economic prosperity to a country like that, that's a socialist, communist, dictatorship or autocracy, the people will become rich and will want things like democracy. They'll want a constitutional republic. They'll want to be able to vote. They'll want to be able to have the right to free speech. They'll want the right to be free to express religion. That was the idea. The problem was, and this is another discussion, I've talked about this before, is that we did that by mortgaging our own American prosperity. So we shipped the jobs off to China in the 90s. We shipped jobs off to China in the thousands. We helped them. We gave them grants. We gave them favored trade act status. We gave them access to funds they would never have access to if they remained a communist country without our support or our backing. Which is why I always say that China was a creation of the United States, because we let that happen, because we believed if we did that, China would become a free democratic country, like South Korea, like Japan.
Yeah, it didn't work well.
Because
Well, with
Japan,
China.
people like to say Japan was Japan because it was because of them. After World War II, we occupied Japan and we constructed that government. We're the reason Japan is the way it is today. There's a major reason Japan is the way it is today. The Americans. That was probably the only and the finest, along with South Korea, the only and the finest example of regime building or regime change in that the United States has carried out. It's Japan, the only one.
Fuck.
So and so Henry Kissinger was hated by the progressives because of the Cambodia, because during the war in Vietnam, remember they came in but they carried out the war in Vietnam and we left. We ended the war in Vietnam in I believe 73. We formally pulled out of Vietnam I think in 73, but the discussions have happened. We carried it out and they eventually said we're going to leave with dignity. That was the sense. We're going to leave with dignity, with humble dignity. That was the
Wasn't he
line that the
also
Nixons, that's what they
go,
advocated
go
for.
ahead.
Go ahead.
Wasn't he also awarded a Nobel Peace Prize
He was. He was awarded a Nobel
for wanting
Peace.
to leave Vietnam?
Yeah, because he was a major proponent of the fact that that war was lost. We weren't going to win it. And also we had lost the hearts and minds of our people, and we had lost and by 68 the political movement for the political capital for a war had been exhausted. The American people didn't want one. Nixon helped end the draft. He ended the draft, and and led to Nixon's a very interesting president because until Watergate, he was virtually one of the most popular presidents of all time. People don't know
Yeah.
that, but he was. He was one of the
Mhm.
most popular presidents of all time. A Republican who started the EPA, a Republican who advocated for a single-payer healthcare system. He would be loved today. But he was also a president that believed in government transparency. He didn't believe in establishment. He didn't believe in um, on building and starting wars in foreign countries and explaining that thing. You would say, oh, but what about Vietnam? Remember, they bombed Cambodia because Kissinger knew, like a lot of other people not in Washington knew, they knew that the Cambodians, led by Pol Pot, who starved 3 million people in the Cambodian countryside. Which, by the way, the people who are calling Kissinger a criminal, they're not pointing this out. They're not pointing out that the leader of Cambodia starved over 1 million to 2 million Cambodians in the fields of Cambodia when he moved them out of the city to the countryside, to the farms, to the rural side, to be farmers, because he and his chief economic minister, who studied in France at the Sorbonne, believed that if they took the people in the cities of Cambodia and put them out in the countryside to produce food, that the country would be sustainable and wealthy. It failed. Millions of people died. Pol Pot was responsible for that. The Khmer Rouge was the government there. And the Americans, Kissinger knew that the North Vietnamese, the North Vietnamese, were sending soldiers and ammunition and supplies through the Ho Chi Minh Trail through Cambodia. And they had bases on the Cambodian border. And that they bombed those targets. And yes, were civilians killed? Yes, because just the same as the Palestinians do and Hamas does, they hide themselves within a civilian population. That was the biggest problem of Vietnam, is that there was so much guerrilla warfare that you couldn't distinguish. The soldiers there could not distinguish a normal Vietnamese citizen with someone who was Northern Vietnamese. They couldn't. They couldn't distinguish someone who fought for the Northern Vietnamese. And it's not because they all looked the same. It was because you didn't know if they agreed. You didn't
Right.
know if they were for them because they didn't wear uniforms like that all the time. Many of them were hiding in the jungles and in the rainforest. You couldn't
The
find them.
jungles and the forest, yeah. Right.
Exactly. You didn't know. So if when the American troops were going to a village in the middle of Vietnam, they had no idea who the hell supported them. They couldn't trust their own translators. The translators also couldn't tell. They couldn't trust each other. There was this notion that I don't know if you are or not. We couldn't know that because the Vietnamese did something that other people did, is that they dressed up as normal people. Yeah, they had
Wow.
uniforms, but a lot of times to counteract because they couldn't because the Vietnamese knew that in a normal war, conventional war, they could never win. The United
Yeah.
States had
Right.
a far larger military, not just in the size of army, but they had a far bigger arsenal. And then they had at the end the N word. They had the nuclear bomb.
So so they knew that the US are like 5 steps ahead, but they want to see if they can be 50 steps ahead
Well, they
by
were
dressing
50
up like
steps
normal
ahead.
people and like yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The
Yeah,
United
no, it's
the
smart. Yeah.
Americans were never could never be a step ahead because they were 50 steps ahead. They were
Yeah,
always you don't know who's who. Yeah, you
especially in the
can't
homeland. Yeah.
exactly. You're in our homeland. We know the rainforests, we know the trails, we booby trap places. And by the way, you won't be able to see who you won't know who's a Northern Vietnamese supporter. Because remember, the country was divided between North Vietnam and South Vietnam before it became the complete Vietnam. There was a border. The Northern Vietnam was communist, led by Ho Chi Minh and the Communist Party. The South Vietnam in Saigon, that was the pro-American government. So
Right.
when they were fighting the Northern Vietnamese, they couldn't tell in those towns and those villages who supported us and who didn't. They couldn't tell because everyone was dressed the same. It was in the hearts and minds of those people. They believed that they were aligned with Northern Vietnam. And you can't read someone's mind and you can't tell someone's heart. You can't.
So aside Vietnam, this is main roles of Argentina and Chile, and then we'll just discuss that whatever and then we can talk about India and Pakistan after that.
Yeah. So in Chile, and I think it was 70 or 71, there's a man, Santiago Allende, a self-avowed and very happy to say that he's a socialist, communist, wins the democratic election in Chile. In the course of a year and a half to 2 years, he then begins to flip shit over. Shit hits the fan. And I'm not saying that millions die. I'm just saying that he begins to nationalize private enterprise. He begins to change laws. He begins to disregard the Constitution of Chile, and he begins to act outside of the law. The Supreme
He's
Court of
really that
Chile,
strong. Wow.
the Supreme Court of Chile writes a letter denouncing him and saying that he is illegally making decisions. He's illegally governing the country. He is disregarding the Constitution and he does not respect the rule of law because he is doing things illegally. Santiago Allende pretty much tells him, shove that letter up your ass. I don't give a shit. The CIA, to counteract the Soviet influence of communism in South America, our backyard, or our front yard, you could say, um, we noticed that there are this is in Chile, Argentina not so much, but in Chile. Um,
Mhm.
so they counteract this influence. What do? They find a experienced military leader, commander named Agustin Pinochet, who is vehemently anti-communist and has the capabilities to command thousands of men on a certain day to take over the government and give it in the name of the Americans, not an American government, but a pro-Western government, anti-communist government. So the CIA provide them the means to do so. They provide them the tactical backup and the support to do so. And and as national security advisor, you can bet your house that Mr. Kissinger knew about it and he approved it. And guess what? If I was there, I would have approved it because this democratically led man began to rule undemocratically. See, we do one thing that they can't. I can see better than I hear. I hear you. He was democratically elected, but I can see that he began to run the country like a dictator, and he never said he was, but he started to. So I can see that. You can tell me, and I can hear you all you want that he was democratically elected. He was ruling it like an autocrat, like a dictator, like the ones you supposedly care about, but they don't care about him.
Wow.
Remember that they don't because they what they care about are dictators that aren't communists. But once there's a communist socialist dictator, they love them. That's what they do. The liberals and the progressives love the socialist dictators. That's why they loved Fidel Castro. That's why they loved Hugo Chavez. That's why they loved the guy in Zimbabwe who passed away a couple years ago. That's why they loved Nelson Mandela, who was a socialist. He wasn't a dictator, but he was a socialist. So
That's crazy.
that's what they did. So Pinochet comes in '73 and he effectively does a coup d'état and Allende kills himself. It's alleged that he was killed, but Santiago Allende kills himself. Now they like to tell us that he didn't kill himself, that he was killed, but he kills himself. We're gonna go with that narrative. He kills himself in Chile, and Pinochet takes over, and effectively until almost 1889, 88, the country undergoes a vast economic transformation. It becomes one of the wealthiest countries in South America. They start a huge campaign of getting rid of communists. Pinochet had a thing where he would throw communists out of a helicopter into the ocean or into the middle of nowhere and drop them. Like that's how he would kill them. Instead of firing squads, they would grab them, put them in helicopters, make them disappear, and he would throw them off a helicopter into who the hell knows. And that's how he got rid of them.
Oh my God. Oh wow.
That was his thing. See, the communists got firing squads. He has helicopter rides. And you would get pushed if you were a communist and you were doing some and you were pulling off some shit. You would be getting pushed off of a helicopter.
Who would have known a helicopter ride would would solve everything?
Helicopters solved everything.
That's funny. Wow.
But
So
yeah, that was him.
that's the one way to do it.
Yeah, that was him. So this was Santiago Pinochet right here. These are photos of him. Military dictator who got 50 years. So people hate him. People dislike him. So that's him and his peoples, him and his soldiers right here. That's
I mean,
him.
he does look hated.
Oh yeah, but he was also beloved. So there are people in Chile who still defend because people in Chile try to have the socialist communists that took over now try to like reassess his legacy. But there's a lot of the older generations that say no, things were peaceful when things were good when he was here. That's why we could afford the massive social
Oh,
programs because we were rich.
all right.
So that was him. Yeah, just a military. He was a military dictator, and he was not. 74 to 1990. So yeah, he was there for a while, and this was approved by the Operation Condor. Was a United States-backed political campaign or political relation state terrorism. That's what they write. So of course, this was written by some right-wing dictatorships. Yeah, this was written by some lefty. But yeah, it was done in all these places. So there was in Argentina, there was Videla, 76 to 81, Bolivia, Hugo Suarez from 71 to 78, and then 97 to 2001, Brazil,
Mhm.
effectively from 74 to 85, Pinochet, of course, is the big example. Stroessner in Paraguay from 54 to 89. And then there was also this one. So a Japanese man became the president. Oh, this is Paraguay, so never mind. Yeah, but in Paraguay they had it from 54 to 89. Peru had it from 75 to 80, and then
And where
later
is he from
on,
again?
who?
Paraguay. What was his name again?
Alfredo Stroessner.
Oh, I see.
And then in Japan, a Japanese man eventually became the president of a Japanese
Did
man
you
eventually became the president of Peru.
did you mention
Alberto
this guy
Fujimori.
before?
A Japanese, because there's a big Japanese community in Peru. If you didn't know.
No, no.
Yeah. So from 1990 to 2000, he was kind of the same thing as
He was in prison.
yeah, they sent him to prison because when he was president, democratically elected, by the way, um, he started to hunt down on communists and socialists, and he tried to get rid of them. And so he was incredibly disliked.
Oh,
Yeah, his daughter has tried to run for president several times, and she keeps losing to the communists who you already know are pulling up some shady shit.
woman can't fight against communism.
Oh, she's like incredibly running against communism. She's like a firebrand.
I mean,
she's only
how
48
close
years
was
old.
she? And oh wow.
So this man, Pedro Castillo, is a communist, by the way,
Hmm.
and this is so funny. The democratically elected, and then and so last year he tried to end Congress. He tried to dissolve Congress. The democratically elected socialists, the ones who love democracy,
Yeah.
he tried to end Congress, and then there was a new president. So and it's this bitch who's also a
Oh,
communist.
what the fuck is that?
Yeah. Wouldn't you like a
I
Japanese
didn't know they
Peruvian for
like
president?
whales.
So yeah, that's
I mean, yeah, I mean, if she's really good, then yeah.
yeah, she's good. She's good at her thing. She talks her shit. And there
Speak your
was
shit, girl.
yeah, he was, the yeah, if you just like look up helicopter helicopter.
Helicopter, helicopter.
So Benavente, Augusto Pinochet's former personal helicopter pilot, has admitted on numerous times that he threw prisoners into the ocean or into the high peaks of the Andes Mountains. Flights were also used to make bodies of already murdered dissidents disappear.
What the fuck?
Yeah, so yeah, here it is. Here's the ruins of the helicopter.
Well, you wouldn't want to do that now because the internet's too strong right
Bro,
now.
I'll do that shit right now, bro. Who gives a fuck? That's what we gotta do. Yeah, man, they were quiet when we did that shit. They were in their place. They got kept. There were no trans in Argentina when they did that shit. What do you think? And that's what people be saying too. So people will say shit like that.
Yeah.
Not effectively what I'm saying, but like they'll say shit like, "Oh,
I just saw your search
what?
history.
Where? Oh yeah, for the images, yeah, yeah, bro. I'll be looking for shit. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. You gotta be.
Christie at buffet.
Yeah, you in that photo? That's what the one I used. How do you think these presentations get made?
These presentations, no joke. Oh, back to Kissinger. I also mentioned India and Pakistan. That's it. That's also an interesting one.
So India, as you
What
know,
was his role on that?
so India, as you know, in the Cold War was a communist country. The Gandhis that took over after him were socialists,
Yeah.
were pure socialists, and led India down the hard road to poverty, or as Hayek would say, the hard road down to self-serfdom, where effectively they became workers of the state, and the only people that profited were the Gandhis that succeeded him. So Pakistan, India, obviously the natural rivalry that's always been. Uh, the United States and Kissinger helped install a pro-American government in Pakistan to counteract the influence of a socialist India and a Soviet Russia in the area, in that part of Asia, in the western part of Asia, the subcontinent area. And so that's what he did. They helped install. Kissinger helped install a um a pro-Western government to into Pakistan, and then now you see where Pakistan is now. And Pakistan for a long time was
Yeah.
was a relatively wealthier country than India for a long time,
Yeah.
until now, where now they're on the brink of huge decline, and they're now taken over by I think they're taken over by the fundamentalist Islamists in Pakistan, who having a nuclear bomb and seeking to have more. Um,
Yeah, I think it's more important.
we know what they would do on the national, what they would do unchecked would be tremendously bad. Remember, the same Pakistanis that helped the new Pakistanis were the ones that helped shield Osama bin Laden for in the Taliban for many years.
Yep.
But that was his role, so they hated him for that role. But then the conservatives hated him. The conservatives hated him because he always appeared to be more of a globalist than he was a nationalist, and they believe that a lot of his decisions were never made with a nationalist perspective. That yeah, we do these things to fight in the Cold War, but we preserve this notion that we do this to protect the United States or to promote the idea of America. It wasn't done that, but he wasn't thinking of that, and he wasn't also thinking of the other thing that the progressives hate was democracy and human rights, which by the way they don't care about, but they say they do, and that's what they chant on the streets. So those things, and also the way in which and I'm talking about conservatives like you and me, not Republicans, conservatives,
Yeah, right.
not the Rockefeller wings, not the Rockefellers and the Bush and the moderate wing. I'm talking about the
Hmm.
Goldwater Reagan wing, which
Hmm.
when they left, when Nixon and Kissinger talked about how we were leaving Vietnam, it looked like we were defeated. It was a very defeatist way of leaving. It was we leave humbly with our hands behind our back and our heads hung, and we're leaving. We're done here. We accomplished the mission. We set up a government, half and half, but that was short lived because in 1975, that was the fall of Saigon. Congress, including Joe Biden, voted to slash funding to the government in South Vietnam, and shortly after, um, in just a matter of a year, that government collapsed, and the Vietnamese in North Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh, took over the entire country and became the Vietnam we know today, a consolidated communist Vietnam.
I
Um,
didn't really notice how to fuck shit up.
yeah, and that was the fall of Vietnam, the fall of Saigon. If you ever heard that, when we talked about Afghanistan, we definitely talked about
Yeah,
the fall of
yeah,
Saigon, and so that was it.
yeah.
And so those were things that the conservatives disliked, is that he always appeared to be a globalist rather than a nationalist, and that um, his defeatist attitude, the way he left Vietnam, and also his bent towards China, his bias affinity to China for China. That was his project. That was his child, and so I could understand why. But that was a big a criticism. And also, Reagan ended the idea of détente. He believed that we had to win it or lose it. That was his attitude on the Cold War. It was time to act now, and that aggressive nature was not what someone like Kissinger would have went for, would have done. He would have been calculated, slowly but assuredly going to his goals of implementing his project or plan. But Reagan was different. Reagan, a believer in that their view of leaving Vietnam was a defeatist, and that an affinity to China was not ideal. He was different. He was set out to win the Cold War. That was his goal in the 8 years. He wants to win it, end it, and that's what he did. Um, you could say. But yeah, I've always
Um,
just that was why people considered him a war criminal.
but
Yeah.
he doesn't look like he's your usual like on the bat like as they would call him a war criminal. I mean, he does have some kind of like genius mind into it. Like he's not doing anything on purpose. He's trying to find reasons on why. Like, what can we do to make this better? I guess he didn't expect China to be as it is right now. Would you
Would he
say
have
that?
expected China to be as it is right now? His criticism of his criticism for that for conservatives has been that he enjoys the fact China it is what it is right now. He believes that it would lead to a good thing. So recently, before he died, by the way, he was active. He was an active foreign policy contributor until the day he died. So he was an
Really?
active thinker. Yeah, presidents constantly, people would always ask him for his opinions because he is the,
Oh yeah, I think Hillary didn't Hillary Clinton also
well, he was invited, Trump invited him to the White House too.
oh wow.
Yeah, so he was always a fixture in the foreign policy apparatus. He was always an influential mind, and in the way that people, so if major politicians could always go to him and ask him, "What do you think of this?" And
Yeah,
I always liked him because he understood things. He had a way of seeing the world that had to be appreciated.
that's why I say like people gonna keep calling him a war criminal, but he is a genius in his own way, like the way he thinks. That's
Yes,
why people
and
come
I
up to
also
him.
think you can really, when we call him a war criminal, the people that call him a war criminal never criticized people like Allende or Pol Pot or in the guy in or Mugabe in Zimbabwe or Idi Amin or the people in India who starved people or the people in Cambodia, I said Pol Pot or Mao Zedong or
I've never
Stalin.
seen people
For the
criticize the
millions and
Gandhis and all
millions,
that.
the tens of millions. I mean, Mao Zedong is responsible for over 100 million deaths. 100 million people. 100 million. Think about that. A third of the United States is 100 million people. That's about our population. We're about 350. A third, a hundred
It's crazy.
thousand people. And they're never. I don't see protests saying how the communist people kill people. They don't say that. They don't believe in that. They don't believe it. They don't want
And
to.
that's very
But they want to go out and cheer. Remember, the Palestinians cheered, and also the Palestinians hated him because he was a supporter of Israel in 73. He believed that it was crucial because in 73, remember, or know this, that the Soviet Union was helping the Syrians, the Lebanese, the Jordanians to fight Israel in 1973 in the Yom Kippur War. And he believed that U.S. supply and aid of Israel would counteract the Soviet influence in the area. That's why he did that, not because he hates Palestinians, he wants to kill people. He believed that it was a means to an end. And that was his idea, that we have to do this to get to where we have to be. Peaceful. That's what he was advocating for. And those people
right.
didn't like the way he did it. But guess what? They would, because all those people on the side of Palestine today, they would eagerly go to war against Israel. They would love to do that.
Mhm.
They would love it if the Syrians
Well,
and the Jordanians and Lebanese went to war with Israel. They would love it.
yeah, it's funny the way you explain it to me. Like it's like different because I mentioned to you before. Like I never really heard the guy. I mean, he was like
No,
pretty quiet. Yeah, I never really
no,
heard.
he was an incredibly significant person.
And then like yeah, you mentioned that you want to talk to him about it. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna look it up and see. And his story and his life is very interesting. Like he was born in Germany. He had to leave he had to leave Nazi Germany. Came to America, did what he had to do, go to school.
Went to Harvard.
Yeah, exactly. Became a politician, and
Well, he didn't become a politician.
all
No,
I
he didn't
hear
become a
is
politician. He was a strategist. He wasn't a politician.
okay,
He was a strategist, and people found out about him, and the Nixon administration hired him.
yeah. And I always hear that he is a war criminal. The amount of people that
Yeah,
were
it's a
the
very
victims.
popular line.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like I wouldn't really expect that coming from like an American strategist or politician. There has to be reasons why.
Yeah, but it was because
We
of the things
we
he signed off on. And the
yeah,
fact that people did die, and people did die when he approved and not just approved, but advocated for carpet bombing Vietnamese
I
bases
heard
in
about
Cambodia.
yeah,
So they
right.
don't they ignore the fact that those were Vietnamese bases in Cambodia. They just say that, oh my God, civilians died. Yeah, but they were all civilians. The North Vietnamese was an army of civilians, effectively. This was guerrilla fighting. That's how we
Yeah,
were doing so badly.
yeah. So
Yeah.
no, this right here is it's interesting.
Then, as always, don't you
But
notice that they always ignore the context?
yeah, they always do. That's why I'm like, all right, like you guys keep saying he's a war criminal, but like I kind of want to hear more.
Exactly
You
how?
know, so
Exactly what was it? And
it's
don't say
easy. It's easy to say that Putin is a warmonger or like he's evil, but it's like dig deeper. It's easy for us to say that, but there has to
exactly.
be reasons.
Exactly. Like, wasn't Obama a warmonger? He
Yeah,
invaded
and
Libya.
no
He made
one
it
said
worse than
anything at
no
all,
one will ever say anything. No, he
and he
propped
got
up
himself a fucking award too.
yeah, he propped up a bad government in South Sudan, and look at where they are. Libya failed. Yemen, look at what he did. He like bombed the Pakistanis, drone striked Pakistanis, drone striked people in Afghanistan and Iraq. I mean, he
Yeah,
didn't make things
like
anything
innocent
better.
families, and yeah, exactly.
What about him? Exactly, but they ignore that. They're like, no, but Obama's black.
He
Yeah,
has that black protection.
yeah, black protection. Yeah. So
Yeah. Oh, he can't do that. He's black. He has to be nice.
we're gonna move on to the next news. We talked about him. Um, George Santos expelled from the House of Representatives, teeing up a special election in the Toss-up district in New York. He was quoted
Dude looks like
upon.
Michael Noah's fat brother.
Democrats and the most fashionable representative in Congress,
Oh God.
the funniest representative in Congress. Um, I mean, my thing has been, and I'll let you get to it in a second. My thing has been Joe Biden has told the funniest lies also. This guy's doing the exact damn thing. He's saying that his mom was involved in the Holocaust. No, he said his mom was there on 9/11 and she was in Brazil. Like that's how funny his lies are. He's like, "Oh, my grandparents escaped the Holocaust, but they didn't. They're not even like there." He said, "Oh, I'm Jewish." And then like they called him out on it and he was like, "No, I'm like Jewish, like kind of Jewish, like like I like bagels." Like that was his rationale. He is
So
the
Biden
funniest
does the
dude.
same thing, but no one wants to
Exactly. Like
say anything
Biden
about
does the
that.
exact damn thing. Nobody
Uh,
criticizes him.
Elizabeth Warren does that too.
But yeah, Elizabeth Warren said she was Native American and got a job because they thought she was Native American.
Yo,
Like,
I should
come on.
do that. I'm also
I'm also Native
half
American.
African.
I'm
I'm
African.
like the lightest African known.
I'm a Ugandhi Indian. I'm a Ugandan Indian. So that's what they did. I mean, even and then what surprised me was Fetterman, who was on The View. They asked him like, "Are you really
I
good?
saw
Are
that,
you
yeah.
okay with that?" And he said, in his own way of saying it, he said, if you're gonna get rid of Santos, how can you let Menendez stay in the Senate? He didn't really say all the words like, "How can you allow someone to like?" He can't really talk. You saw the video. He can't talk. And then after a
Yeah,
while,
yeah, I
after like
saw
a
it, yeah.
minute, he was like, "Bob Menendez is really a senator for Egypt and not New Jersey." I completely agree. Um,
Mhm.
and he kind of like made a thing like, Santos's lies are like, yeah, I was on the moon. Like funny lies. He called Santos's lies funny. And all the women on The View laughed when he said that. I mean, if I said that on The View, they wouldn't laugh at me. Those punk ass bitches. But
But he's like he's just going around trolling people, no? Well, I wouldn't say trolling, but it's like yeah, he's just trying to be funny.
I mean,
Is
I
that his
don't. No,
shtick?
no, no. He's not trolling. He's not trolling.
Uh,
He's
Or he's actually being like serious telling
he
people that he's
was.
that.
He was, which is why I was laughing because it wasn't true. It wasn't true. Like when Joe Biden goes and says, like, yeah, I grew up Puerto Rican. He's serious about it, but it wasn't true. Like Joe
Yeah, what
Biden
the
goes
fuck,
around and is
man?
like, yeah, I grew up Puerto Rican. We all know that's a lie, except for him.
Dude doesn't even look Puerto Rican.
Like he's like, I grew up in a Puerto Rican community. Where? When?
Oh, right, right, okay. Yeah.
Like, what do you mean you grew up in a Puerto Rican community? There are no Puerto Ricans in Delaware. You grew up, and then in the same sentence, he'll be like, I grew up in an Irish household. What?
I'm surprised they didn't say that with Indian people. I grew up in
Well, he
Indian
says there are Indian people, but they're all cab drivers and 7-Eleven people. Remember that one?
7-Eleven worker.
Yeah, like if you walk in, it's like you're gonna walk into 7-Eleven, you have to have an Indian accent.
A slight Indian
You have
accent.
to have a slight Indian accent around here. I mean, it's hilarious. And so my thing is like, first of all, they all lie, which is, by the way, a lot of them don't want to actually go out and criticize him. They just vote on it because they all know if they come out and say something, they're all going to look at you too.
Oh,
And so, but
yeah.
the thing is like, bro, he has the funniest lies. Y'all just hating. Y'all couldn't. You know what? You know what it is? They're just hating that they're not creative enough. They're not creative enough to say that their mom was in 9/11, even though she was in Brazil. He literally said that on 9/11 when he was campaigning. He was like, I'm a victim of 9/11 because my mom was involved in the attacks. She is a
Yeah,
survivor of 9/11.
I remember we talked about him in one of the
Yeah,
episodes, and you
exactly.
mentioned
Yeah.
that part. Yeah.
He said that he like, and remember, this guy not only is he lying, but he was a drag queen in Brazil.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, it's
Oh
hilarious.
yeah.
This is my favorite congressman of all time. The fact that he's gone is like that was a sad day. That was a sad day in America for me. The fact that he's gone.
I forgot he was. Holy shit. Yeah, yeah. We even talked about
Yeah,
that
we've
on the
talked about him.
episode
He's my
too.
favorite congressman. What did I say? I don't give a shit about Jim Jordan and Speaker Mike Johnson. This is my guy. I love that guy. He dresses good because he's gay. He's gay and he's fashionable because gay people be fashionable. You know that. You didn't know that? What?
Uh, oh, I thought you were trying to say like you know that because you're trying to say I'm gay.
Oh well, obviously. No, but I'm like, you all know that gay people can dress and they're good at house decorating.
I see some, yeah.
Yeah, and that's him. And he's lying and trolling me that he says that he's Jewish, but no, I'm Jewish, like I'm cheap. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Like he literally says I'm Jewish because I like bagels and I like breakfast. Like what? I love that man. That guy's hilarious. Why are they getting rid of him? The fuck? They should get rid of AOC, not him.
No, they can't
Joe
do that.
Biden can
They
lie,
want
but Joe Biden can lie, but he can't lie.
yeah, he's a very nice old man, you know. He
Yeah, don't you know that? Don't you know that George Santos is a Holocaust survivor? His grandparents
oh,
survived the Holocaust.
yeah, this is hilarious.
Dude, that guy,
We're
like,
crying.
that dude is hilarious. That dude is hilarious. Yeah, but that was what I was saying. I mean, I get it though, and I agree. Like you're not gonna get rid of Menendez, and Democrats know that. That's why they're not going after him. And by the way, Santos did say, like, hell, if I go down, we're all going down because I know shit now. So I want to know what's gonna
Oh
happen.
shit.
I want to know. This is hilarious to me.
Yeah, I was gonna ask like now what's next? So
Well, he's kicked
um
out, so now there's gonna be a special election. So they have
okay.
to vote for a new congressman, who's probably gonna be a Democrat. But
Yeah.
and that's the end of George Santos, man. Damn, I'm sad. That was a sad day for him because that dude is hilarious. That dude is hilarious. His lies are funny as hell, and just the way he is. Like, have you seen him with the glasses? He's
No,
hilarious.
I've seen him with glasses. No,
He's
I
hilarious.
thought this was him just like fooling around, just like being funny, but no, he's actually being serious.
Nah, he was being serious, man. Bro, I love that guy. That guy's awesome.
Hey, get Joshua. I love that guy. I'm gonna check his dick.
Whoa,
Damn, shut up. Kissing his culo like that.
you wish.
Why would I wish that?
I don't know. That's
You're
what
the
you like
one that's
doing.
you're the one that's praising him.
Yeah, because I love liars like that guy. What the fuck? Like, what? We can't have this liar. You guys can have Joe Biden who's lying, but we can't have fucking George Santos.
Bruh, that is true.
They're just mad that George Santos isn't a pedophile, and your guy is.
Well, what does Santos know about everyone?
I don't know.
Because
Probably
not yeah, because you mentioned it like
at,
if I'm going down, you're all going down, and I
at
know
this point,
I know a lot.
honestly, at this point, I doubt he knows anything. He's probably just talking shit.
Oh, you just
That's what I'm gonna guess. I'll guess. He's just like, you know what?
so another lie.
Probably. Who knows? I mean, why doubt him now?
Oh,
Yeah. So that was what we were. That was hilarious.
how old is he? George
I don't know,
Santos.
like in his 30s or some shit.
Let's find out. Born in 1988. Yeah, he's in his 30s. Dude has a criminal status in Brazil.
Oh yeah, he might. Yeah, yeah. He has like a bunch of shit going on. He's hilarious. Trust me, man. He has
Hilarious.
plenty going on. Yeah, he's hilarious, man. The whole
Okay,
story,
he's
dude. If you
hilarious.
look up his history, like his story, you won't stop laughing. That's why it's funny to me. Like I've read every lie he's gone through. His whole thing, I've read through it. That's hilarious. I
Well,
recommend
after his news came out, what have the other politicians been saying about him?
nothing. Nothing. That's the thing. They don't
Nothing.
want to say anything about him because they know it's gonna happen.
Oh, so just like let it
Because
be.
they don't want people looking into their thing. Because if they come out and say, see, that's why we can't have dirty, lying politicians who lie about things. You know why he got caught last time? You want to know how he got caught? Like why he got caught this last time? Because he was doing Botox and buying OnlyFans with campaign money.
Ah, what? What do you got caught for? Sucking dick?
I don't know. Oh no, no, wait, we found out. No, some fat bitches. He was following some fat bitches. Yes, yes.
What?
He was following some fat bitches on OnlyFans. Look that shit up. I'm gonna move on to another
Oh,
subject. We're moving on.
so that's why there was an OnlyFans logo. I remember like a pic on Instagram. There's like OnlyFans logo on it.
Yeah,
I didn't understand what that meant.
fat bitch was like, yeah, he's one of my subscribers. She came out and she was like, yeah, he's one of my subscribers. And he spent campaign money on OnlyFans and Botox and dinners.
Have you saw his bio on Twitter? I don't know if it was there the whole time. My community service will be to clean up Congress if it's corrupt frauds in a bipartisan way. My road to redemption will be serving the American people. Has it always been there?
I don't know. I don't know that one.
Make America triggered again. Trumpet Santos. What
He
the fuck?
is hilarious.
When Trump is president, Santos is vice president.
Oh my god, that'd be hilarious. That guy's hilarious. Yeah, let's move on to the next
That would be a lot of comedy.
Nah, that'd be the most funny. That'd be the funniest crap I ever saw in my life. So moving on to a topic I know you wanted to discuss. This week a Black Lives Matter community member, leader of like a sect somewhere,
Right.
endorsed Donaldo Trump.
He's not black.
Donaldo Trump. Mark Fisher. He endorsed Trump and said, you know, we're down. We're not supporting Biden anymore. We don't believe that Democrats and Biden, um, you know, stand for the black community and support blacks and want to do anything for black communities in inner cities. We stand for Donald Trump. And then on Twitter, shit went wild with quote unquote conservatives.
Yeah.
Before we get into it with you, Ronnie boy, Ron the boot lifts, tweeted BLM praising Donald Trump and Trump celebrating it makes perfect sense. When BLM was burning down our cities and assaulting our police officers in our cities across this country, Trump did nothing but sit in the White House tweeting law and order. We did it differently in Florida. I didn't just tweet. I took action and called up the National Guard. We were not going to let our cities burn. As president, I will not sit idly by and watch rioters torch our cities. Because in Florida, and that was a tweet. I have some thoughts on it, but I know you wanted to talk about this first. You were the one who suggested we bring this up before we talk a little bit more about DeSantis and shit. Go for it, man. Let me know what.
By the way, I didn't even see that debate, but we'll talk it later.
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, yeah. When I first saw this, it was kind of surprising. I really expected that from what's his face, and I think someone in the comments mentioned it's like KKK endorsing Trump during his time. I don't know if I would compare the BLM to KKK. I mean, KKK is like literally like most hated in America, if not maybe in the world. And then BLM had more support, you know, in 2020 and you know before that. So yeah, I wouldn't really compare them and KKK at all. But I don't know, unless if I'm overthinking this, I don't know if I can trust the leader of the leaders and you know the founders of BLM. So
the funny thing is, like,
I'm like 50-50 on it. I don't know. Like, it's a good thing, bad thing. They might try some shit. You know, I don't know.
I don't even give a shit. That's where I am. I don't care. See,
right.
This is my point: is that people don't know how to read anymore because they see BLM leader. He is the BLM leader of a small community sect chapter of BLM.
Yeah, yeah.
BLM operates like most things, like a boys and girls club. They have community sectors. They have a group in wherever the hell he is, in whatever town. I think he's like in Rhode Island or something. In his community in Rhode Island, he is the leader of the Black Lives Matter group, and he individually is endorsing, and he is calling for Black Lives Matter people and black communities to endorse Trump. He's not saying that they will. He individually believes that Trump would do more for black people than Biden and Democrats.
I'm not like you know being overreacting like when it comes to other conservatives like in the comment section, because I'm pretty sure he has a small following. He doesn't have a big following.
Bingo.
So it's not. That's why I'm saying it's 50-50. I don't know if I can trust him, but at the same
And
I
then
don't
here's the
think it's
second thing.
a huge problem.
No one, no one and their grandmother asked Ron DeSantis to be the gatekeeper for conservatism. No one.
Yeah.
He is not. He is not. Nobody gives a shit if Ron DeSantis cares or thinks you're a conservative or not. First of all, this is the same man. All right, he's going to talk about that. All right, Ronnie boy, talk to me
Ronnie
about your
boy.
best friend the pedophile who killed himself because they were about to indict him for being a pedophile, for texting a young girl. Tell me about him. He was your roommate as an adult, not in college, as an adult. This was a man who was
Oh,
a
that's
top
creepy.
Republican donor, organizer for you. He helped you become governor by raising funds in Florida. A pedophile. So tell me about that. All right. So you tell me about that guy. Because if you're gonna come out here and play the I'm better than Trump because I don't have drama and I'm clean and I don't do things like Trump, like pay a prostitute. You're friends with a pedophile. I'd rather be friends with a prostitute. I'd rather pay a prostitute than be friends with a pedophile. Hey,
Hmm.
I don't play games here. We keep it real here.
Right.
It's like, what are
I
you?
mean, Ron can say whatever the hell he wants. I've noticed
So
that Trump has gotten a lot of endorsements this year.
so this is the thing. He doesn't like the fact that there are people coming into the party, not supporting him and supporting Trump, because Trump has opened up the party to people that would never have joined it back before 2016. Meaning, there are more black people voting for Republicans in 2023 than there are back in 2015. There are more Hispanics voting for Trump than they were back in 2016. In
Mhm.
2015, I mean, when Trump wasn't around. Trump has brought more minorities to the party, like us, than Mitt Romney, Ron DeSantis, Ron Paul, or John McCain ever did. Trump in 2016 flipped Florida because he went out and wanted the Hispanic vote. He went down to Miami and he wanted it. He earned it. He fought for it. You go to talk to people like Wake Up with Linda. They were the ones talking about how Trump and his campaign went down to Florida. They went down to South Beach and they were campaigning and advocating for the Latino vote, for the Latino Republican vote, for the Cuban vote, for the Colombian vote in Florida. Not Ron DeSantis, not Rick Scott, not Byron Donalds, not the pedophile that Ron DeSantis is best friends with. None of them. It was the Trump campaign. They're the reason why there are more Hispanics voting for Republicans in Florida than there are Democrats. They're the reason. Donald Trump. And Ron DeSantis hates the fact if they were okay. Question here: if Mark Fisher endorsed DeSantis and said that black people should vote for DeSantis, would DeSantis make that tweet?
What the fuck?
No. That's real though. That's real though. If
Yeah, no, no,
if
yeah,
Mark
yeah.
Fisher, that Black Lives Matter leader in Rhode Island, came out and went on Fox News and told that guy, hey, I endorse DeSantis and I want black people in BLM to endorse DeSantis because Democrats don't support us. That's what he said. Just switch Trump for DeSantis. Would DeSantis write that tweet?
I think he would
No.
do that tweet.
No, he wouldn't write that
No.
tweet. No. Why would he write a tweet saying BLM destroyed our city and I'm not going to take their endorsement when
No,
if a black dude
okay.
goes on and says, you know what, I'm going to vote for DeSantis because I think DeSantis cares about black people. You think DeSantis is writing that tweet? No, he's not. He's
No,
not
no,
writing that
the
tweet.
way no, the way I was thinking was like, yeah, he's gonna do that tweet publicly saying like, oh, he's endorsing me. But no, I get what you're saying. I
No,
get what
yeah,
you're
he's
saying.
going to make a tweet saying Black Lives Matter endorses me because the leader of Black Lives Matter endorsed me because they realize that I'm better than Trump for black people and I'm better for
Yeah,
the country. He
that's
would
what I
have
had
done
in
that
mind. Yeah,
instead,
yeah.
but he wouldn't have wrote that
Right,
tweet
right.
that he just did. He would have not wrote that tweet.
No.
He wouldn't have.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
He wouldn't have. He'd
Yep.
be flying Mark Fisher down to take a photo with him with his stiletto boots on. That's what he would have been doing right now. Right now. That's what he'd been doing. So we're going to keep it real. What
Yeah.
DeSantis and his The Sims don't do, we're doing it. That's what he would have done. Like, let's not play games here. So, I mean, like they can talk all the shit they want. We know what would have happened. So let's move on to the debate. I don't have any video of this episode for anybody, just because or photographs like that, because our the audio only listeners that I love. We're here, and Who won the DeSantis-Newsom debate? Now, I don't really like this backdrop because, um, you ever notice that Trump always stands in front of
Fuck.
a blue screen?
Oh God. Oh, his face.
You ever notice that Trump always stands in front of a blue screen?
I've noticed that. Yeah.
Well, it's
I
because it's
never.
more flattering.
Yeah. Yeah.
Red?
I've barely. Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen him behind on the red screen. That's actually interesting.
Yeah, because it's more flattering. Who looks nicer in this picture?
Gavin,
Gavin
look
looks
at that
nicer.
that smile.
Look at those
Look at
teeth.
that teeth.
Look at all that. Look at that hair. Look at those shoulders. And then look at Ron. And that red, angry. In Florida. Look at that.
Ah.
And I say this. I know what they're trying to do. Red is Republican, blue is Democrat, blue state, red state.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't like it. I don't like it. I don't think Trump would have ever done that. So
Maybe he's looking blue.
who?
Maybe he'll just keep everything blue
Yeah, I would think
for
I would
both
keep everything
sides.
blue. Yeah, I would think I would keep everything blue or like a white, whatever they do
Yeah.
behind like a blue screen.
It wouldn't be
Yeah,
like,
I
no,
don't like Gavin.
I want to be in the blue, you can be in the red. It's not like that.
No. They
Plus,
chose
it's
the red.
Trump. Yeah.
No, you know DeSantis chose the red, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm going to be in the red." No, so that's what I was saying. I watched highlights. I didn't watch the full debate. I watched highlights. And then I watched news clips, and then I watched news headlines
I
to see
watched the
what the
clips.
takeaways were.
Didn't
It's
really
interesting
care
to me. I'm going
much.
to start like with the end. It's interesting. DeSantis and Newsom agreed, personally, both agreed to go more time. They were going to go for more time, but then Newsom's wife came in and said, "No, we're ending it now."
Bro, it's always the fucking wives, man.
You know, it's always the fucking wives. Now, Newsom came right off the bat and went at DeSantis, and he was like, "You know what? We're going to have disagreements, but there's one thing we can both agree on that neither of us is going to be the nominee for our party in 2024." And I was like, "Damn, killed him, wrecked. He wrecked him. He wrecked him." He said, "Neither of
Oh,
us are going to be
oh wow.
president in 2024." Damn, Gavin, you really.
Damn,
He
Daniel.
went right after DeSantis.
He's speaking
Um,
facts.
yeah, he spoke them facts, but that was the only facts he spoke. Because after that, he went into a whole thing. You know, we care about. Well, I never liked the debate
Ah, yeah.
because I never thought DeSantis should engage. You're a presidential candidate. You're trying to be something above a governor. Why are you lowering yourself on Gavin Newsom's stage?
Yeah, I don't think this debate was really necessary. You just let the man ruin his own state and everyone could see it, you know.
And then remember, people aren't going to look at like Gavin Newsom is obviously going to win automatically on the healthcare. He's going to win on the abortion. He's going to win on the, it's nicer to live in California because it's nicer here. It's warm, etc. Stuff like that.
I mean,
Did DeSantis have
do
to
put
pull
out
up a
like a
book?
map of like shit.
Yeah, he had to pull up the shit map. It's like, all right, I mean, that's a good one, but like, why are you bringing props? If your message can't be said and you have to bring props in to discuss it, you're not going to win anything. You're just not. I'm sorry. If you need props, because in a real debate, you can't bring props. In a
Yeah,
real debate,
I
you
think that was
can't
the
bring
first time
props.
I've ever seen anyone do that, just bringing props and
Yeah, I've never seen anybody just bring a prop like that. But this isn't like a real debate. This is like a TV show fun debate. So it's not official.
yeah,
It's not really a real
yeah, it
debate.
wasn't. Yeah, it's not nothing serious here.
No, no one's taking like DeSantis didn't like Gavin Newsom didn't take this seriously. He went on there just to do it, and he did it. And people are going to be like, "Oh shit, Gavin Newsom in 2028, he doesn't give a shit. He goes right. He's a fighter." And then I think Ron DeSantis came off as, "Yeah, he gets the policies right, but he can't sell it. He's boring, and he can't sell the policy. He can't sell the dream. Sell me the dream of America. He can't. He can't sell it to me." Um, no, I think rhetorically, I think policy wise, yeah, DeSantis is right. DeSantis got it right. You know, Florida has become a
Yeah,
safer state. There's less of a homeless problem in Florida than there is in California. It's a cleaner state. There isn't the drug issues in the state like it is in California. The immigration problem of asylum seekers and refugees, quote unquote, that is a thing in Florida that is real. That doesn't exist, unlike in California. But California is a border state, so Gavin Newsom can say, we confront illegal immigration on the border every day. if he really wanted to go after him. See, I can
Mm,
coach a guy like Gavin Newsom. I can give him pointers because I know Republicans. I know that they're
mm.
too scared to actually go after the real stuff.
All right.
See, if Gavin Newsom had come out and actually wanted a real debate and fight it off, he could have said some shit, and Gavin Newsom and DeSantis would have just sat there. He could have gone after the fact that, hey, yeah, you're against abortion, but you signed the abortion ban in the middle of the night when nobody's watching. And that's true. That's the truth. That's the truth.
Yeah,
Why
that
did you
yeah, that is
sign?
true. Yeah.
Why did you sign that abortion ban in the middle of the night when nobody was watching, and then go out and campaign for 3 days? And why did you stay? Why did you hide away from cameras for 3 days after you signed it? Why? Say you're not a real leader like me. I could have told him, hey, Gavin, he signed it in the middle of the night. Go say that. When he comes at you for the abortion, you go out and say that. Hey, so that's what
But
I
he,
would
he
have
he
said.
didn't he didn't mention that.
He didn't really go after it that way.
Gavin didn't mention it.
He went after the
Okay.
he went the other route. He went the women's medical rights and freedom and women's rights route. That's how he went.
Uh,
And so
it works
so
well with the but
I thought that this debate was a loss from the beginning. Newsom went on the stage and defended the Biden agenda in a charismatic way that Biden could never do. And people are going to believe it. No, people are going to believe it because there's a short,
yeah,
stumpy guy and who's shorter. Who, by the way, if you saw the stage, they put like DeSantis on a bigger platform, but he still looks shorter than Newsom.
I kind of want to see that actually.
Yeah, look into it. There's pictures on Twitter about it
I
because
really want to
Newsom
see
is
that. Dude's not being real to himself. Like, don't worry about your height, man.
Newsom is 6'3". Like, come on now. Newsom is 6'3". He's presidential height material.
Yeah.
And here he goes. DeSantis is 5'8", 5'9". Like, he's like a short king. You know what I'm saying? He's one of them short kings.
No, that's not the average.
5'8". Bro, you're taller than DeSantis. I'm
5'8",
taller than
5'9".
DeSantis.
I'm taller than by like 1 or 2 inches.
Oh, I'm taller than DeSantis.
Yeah, you're tall.
Yeah. Well, see
I'm like
that.
almost 5'10".
Yeah, no. See that's the thing. That's the thing, though. It's that he doesn't come off as charismatic. He always comes off as like he's fighting you, like. And
So
that's
yeah,
the
I'd be
problem.
a bit taller than
Yeah. No,
than
this debate
LeBron.
has no point. I mean, not now because he's wearing them boots.
Now you
He's
know
wearing
who
those
got the
boots.
height though? Barron Trump.
Barron Trump got that height, man.
Dude's 17 years old and he's like 7. He's like 6'6" or six
He's like
seven.
6'9".
Dude is
Barron Trump is
insanely
six
tall
seven. Yeah, he's
for
6'7".
for
He's
his
gonna be
age.
laying up. He's gonna be the next Chet Holmgren. He's gonna be playing on some white team, bro.
Yeah, with the idea of him like wearing heels and shit, it's like, bro, stay real to yourself. Like honestly, you don't gotta do all that stuff
Yeah, I mean, you
because
don't gotta wear stilettos.
everyone can see it.
Yeah, you don't gotta wear
Everyone
stilettos,
can
bro.
see it.
Yeah. No, that was the thing. I thought the debate was pointless from the beginning. I think that yeah, DeSantis won on the policy points. He definitely won the debate in terms of policy, but the aftermath is where DeSantis wins. I mean, where Gavin Newsom wins. Gavin Newsom comes off as a guy who's not going to be a pushover. He went to the debate. He stood there. He was more charismatic. He can sell the vision of his vision for California, even if it's a bad one. See, this is the thing. Even if it's a shitty product, people sell lemons all the time. You know what a lemon in a car? A lemon, like a shitty car. You
Hmm.
know what a lemon is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, people sell lemons all the time. You just got to be good at selling it. Gavin Newsom is selling a lemon. California is a lemon. He's selling it though, and he's better at selling it. He's selling the sandy beaches, the nice Hollywood sign, the Golden Gate Bridge. If you're a lesbian, you can be here and ride bikes with your bitch ass girlfriend. If you're gay, you can do
Bitch ass
stuff.
girlfriend.
And if you're Mexican, you can live here in peace. We're a sanctuary state. So he's appealing to a broad group of people, broad group of people, and he's selling a vision that he believes is conducive for a peaceful America. And in 2028, when he runs for president, because he will be able to do the same thing because he can sell. He's handsome. He's tall. He commands the room. He's always happy. Notice that he's always happy. He's always smiling. Even when he was yelling at Ron DeSantis, he was happy about it. He was smiling, laughing. Ha! You're so
Yeah,
stupid, Ron.
yeah. Right.
You and your Florida. You and your alligators. We don't have alligators. We have illegal immigrants. Like that's the thing that Ron DeSantis will never have. That's why his campaign was failed from the beginning. And people are jumping ship. The Simps are here on a victory lap. Like, yeah, the conservatives debate. No, no one gives a shit about that.
Oh yeah, didn't
You know
one
what
of
I was
oh
doing
no,
on Thursday?
that was Vivek. Never mind.
You
Yeah,
know what I was
what?
doing on Thursday? Watching football, not this debate. The fuck? I was watching the Cowboys and the Seahawks. The hell was
I
that was
was,
a good ass game.
I was fucking working and playing video games after. I didn't care about the debate.
Exactly. And see, even if weren't at work, you weren't going to watch the debate. You were going to watch the football or the
I
other.
was gonna
Yo, and that
watch it.
was a good ass football game. 41-30, 41. The third, what was it? 41 something.
It was like 41 to 35, I believe.
That was a good ass game, dude. That was a
Yeah,
good
fucking.
ass game.
I thought it was gonna be a huge wipeout, but no, fucking Seahawks were coming to play.
There was a good game. Yeah, and see, nobody was watching that shit, bro. Nobody's talking about the ratings. Nobody's talking about the ratings for that debate. You know why? Because they sucked.
What was the ratings? I'm actually curious.
Yeah, look at the ratings. Let me know. While I move on, we're gonna move
They
on to.
can't bring they can't bring Trump ratings.
No, they can't. They can't handle that. They can't handle the ratings.
So according to Politico, DeSantis and Newsom showdown on Fox drew nearly 5 million viewers.
Oh, that sucks ass. And look at the Cowboys Seattle game.
I just spelled cow noise. What's up, cow noise? Let's see. Let's see.
Can't find the ratings for that game. Yeah, it's gonna be tough to find the ratings. But
Yeah.
let's see. Actually, just for Thursday night football rating.
They're just mentioning about the score rating. Now I'm not trying. No, look.
Well, it was on Amazon, so no, yeah, they're not there yet. So
Ah, I see.
yeah, that's why we're not there.
That makes
They don't give us
sense.
ratings. But anyways, yeah, we're gonna move on to the next topic. Yeah, the ratings were low. I mean, if you look at the college football ratings this week, I mean, yesterday, Saturday, I mean the college football ratings for each game. I mean, like they weren't even close. Like,
Yeah, I mean, like sports. Yeah, when it comes to sports, they'll always draw bigger ratings than politics,
yeah. And
unless
I'm
it was
sure that the
Trump.
people watching Amazon, the Amazon football game, I'm sure they got better ratings than the debate because nobody's interested. 5 million people, 5 million
Unless
people. Come on
it
now.
was Trump's ratings.
Look at Trump's ratings. So we're gonna move on to the to this new thing that also sucks, like the ratings for DeSantis, Gavin. Riots. There were riots this week in Dublin, in Ireland, after a child was stabbed. After children were stabbed by an Algerian immigrant. Now, as soon as this happened, there were then riots. There were riots, and effectively there was an anti-police, anti-immigration clash. Buses, police cars set alight, shops looted, stabbed. A 5-year-old girl receiving emergency treatment. 3 young children were among the 5 people injured in a knife attack in Dublin on Thursday that sparked riots in the city center, in which police have not yet ruled out any motive over, including whether it could have been terror related. Public transport was suspended and patients advised not to travel to a nearby maternity hospital unless absolutely necessary after clashes between riot police and anti immigrant protesters who arrived at the scene of the attack besides the main thoroughfare of O'Connell Street. I also added here down below, if you remember, there was a MP in the Irish Congress who wanted a law for hate speech, pretty much saying that we're restricting freedom, but we're doing it for the common good. If your
Yeah,
views on people's identities go to make their lives unsafe, insecure, and cause them to have deep discomfort that they cannot live in peace, then I believe that it is our job as legislators to restrict those freedoms for the common good. And she had
yeah.
nothing to say. But the discomfort
No,
caused to natives
when
by
you
mass migration or the need to restrict migrants' freedom to travel for the common good of the average people. Go ahead.
that's crazy. No, yeah, no, I was gonna say normally when you hear politicians say that we're doing this for the common good,
It's not.
you fight back.
Yeah,
Honestly,
exactly. You fight back.
you fight back. Don't run. Don't hide. Don't stay quiet. You fight back.
Yeah, you gotta fight back. You gotta counter these people because see what they're not telling you the full truth is that see what they said. If you cause even discomfort or insecurity, so if I make someone trans not like feel good, I can go to jail, or I should go to jail, or my right to free speech is being eliminated by this woman who believes that her right to speech is far more important than mine, and she doesn't care about the fact that yeah, there all these immigrants are being brought here, and an Algerian immigrant stabbed children, a 5-year-old and I think a 9-year-old. They were taken to the emergency room, and all of a sudden they're trying to act as if, oh, that never happened. Because all these immigrants, and if you look at Irish immigration, all these immigrants in Ireland have been brought there over these past couple years. In fact, it was only recently. So if you look at the specifics,
Is it mostly the Middle Easterns going to Ireland?
Middle Eastern, Arabs. So if you look at here, the statistic here that I have, I'm going to tell you the statistic. In the past 46% of so the foreign population. So Ireland is in the seventh place of of these people in terms of the share of immigrants in its population. The foreign-born population of Ireland is 17%. So 17% of the total population, okay, of Ireland is foreign-born. They're immigrants. Over
Wow.
almost 50% of those immigrants have been brought to Ireland in the last 5 years. So imagine that. Almost half of the 17%. So let's bump it up to 18. That's 9% of the population was brought there in the last 5 years. They're all immigrants. Unvetted, unchecked, and they're being told that they're refugees and they're migrants because they need help. They need to be saved. Look at that. And so then
They want to
when
be
you have an
saved, but
issue,
they're not even looking at they're not even doing any background checks or anything. They're just letting them in just like
yeah,
that.
they're just letting him in. They're just letting him in. They're just letting him in because those people have needs above the ones over their native population. The people like that woman care more about immigrants than she does her own people. That's what happens. Those politicians care more about those immigrants than they do the native people of those countries. She cares more about an Algerian immigrant who stabbed a 9-year-old girl than she does the Irish people that have to work and who have lost their jobs because of all these people. The people that were on social welfare who are now whose benefits are being taken away because of all these immigrants. Just like in New York and like New York State, you saw that veterans were being pushed out of their homes because of these immigrants. The exact same thing is happening. The exact same thing.
It's crazy when you see this because nobody's gonna see this, but it's crazy when you see this because it's happening in mostly Western countries. You don't see this in China. You don't see this in like India. You don't see this in
Japan.
no. You don't see it in Russia either, and it's mostly white.
No, they don't. They don't do that. So they don't want that. So
So now, what would you call it? Because now, what is it like? Because now I can easily say that they're trying to get rid of the white population.
well, yeah, it gives credence to the replacement theory. It's like, why are you bringing all these people, all these people in this big of a number in this short of a time frame? And why are we hearing you
Yeah,
telling us that you're going to give them the equal rights, that they may have the right to vote, that they have the right to set up all these things in the communities? That imagine this: there are over 1,500 mosques in London, yet England is a racist
damn,
country.
1,500,
But England is a racist country.
and
There
they
are
come
over
there.
1,500 mosques in London. If I, as a Catholic, wanted to go to Palestine, if I wanted to go to Lebanon, if I wanted to go to Afghanistan or Pakistan and wanted to build a
Good luck.
cathedral,
Good
good luck.
luck with that.
Good luck with that. You couldn't. I can't do that. If a Hindu wants to build a temple in Pakistan, he'll be killed. He will be killed. So Conor McGregor comes out and says, "Hey guys, like, forget the riots. How come your guys are bringing all these people in? You're not looking after the people in Ireland. You're ignoring their needs. You're ignoring their rights. You're bringing all these people in. How can it be that you care more about immigrants than this girl being stabbed by an Algerian immigrant? These people are coming in unvetted, unchecked. They're mostly men. It's mostly men coming in, and you're not doing anything about it." And so what happens now? The government is investigating Conor McGregor for online hate speech. He doesn't have the right to criticize or comment on his government's policies, the government he pays tax to, the government he would fight for in a war for. He can't
This
do
is
that.
why freedom of speech is important.
Exactly.
This is why it is so important. And half the people in this country in America wants to get rid of it.
Yeah, because they disregard it. They don't understand how important it is until they lose it, until stuff like
Like,
this happens. And Ireland's not the only country. You already know the EU is the one promoting it. So they're the ones telling
yeah,
all these countries you have to take this amount of people in. And Poland and Hungary, remember, Poland and Hungary are taking in zero,
they don't want it.
zero, zero, because they know that this is a cultural transformation that is going underway. They will not be allowed. These people are not compatible with us. They know that these Muslim immigrants, these Muslim invaders, are not compatible with our culture. They are not compatible with a Christian Polish country. They are not compatible with a Orthodox Hungarian country. They are not compatible. And they know that. These leaders know that. And they're looking out for their people. They told their population, hey, we're going to go we're going to go into government and we're going to establish policies that will not have mass immigration. And the people voted for it democratically. Remember, they democratically voted for the Orban. They democratically elected for the Christian freedom parties in Poland. They voted for Geert Wilders in the Netherlands. Why? Because of these policies. They're realizing that this is destructive. So they're voting with their pocket and their community safety for an anti-mass immigration candidate. Because they see this is what happens. There's filth, there's sexual assault, there's religious bigotry on their part,
Yeah,
there's
right. Yeah.
crime and drugs and homelessness. And so they see that. They live in the communities. They're not the elitists in Edinburgh and in the capital of Ireland who are out here just living in their gated communities, never seeing these people. No, the people of Ireland see this. They see the crime. They see the violence. They see the religious bigotry. They see the protests. They see how these people who come into this country want to live as if they're in Saudi Arabia. They want to live as if they're in their third. They want to live in those countries as if they're still in those third world Muslim countries, praying in the streets, selling dirty crap in the streets, stabbing women, marrying 13-year-old girls, sexually assaulting, the rape. Remember what happened in Sweden? They had to vote. They voted for the right wing party because of that, because they saw the huge problem they had when Islam entered that country. And it's Islam. You don't see that with the Greek migrants. You don't see that with Romanian migrants. You don't see that with the Mexican migrants. You don't see that with the Israeli migrants. You don't see that with them. But when it comes to them, it's just something that they have to conquer. They have to infringe with their way of life. And so I have video for you, Candy. I want to show you.
Okay.
You're gonna love this video because these are your people.
I would like to see
This is what's
who's the
happening
leader of
there.
Ireland right now.
It's a Green Party member. So here I'm gonna share this video for you. This is Spain. This is the border between Spain and Morocco.
The down is more still going up.
You see all that? Just all those people. You look at them. Who are they all? Men, young men. You see a woman here? I'm pausing it so you can see. Where's the woman? They're all women. There's no men. There's no women. You see any?
Man, if that was me, I'd be right up that fucking hill with all my National Guards and shoot the fuck out of all of them.
But you can't because you're going to call the United Nations. So
Exactly. I can't.
you can't. So here's another one. In the Italian island of Lampedusa, over 200 illegal Muslim migrants from Africa. Look at all these pieces of shit. Look at all these guys. Tell me where you see one woman or one child. You see that? Where are the women?
Disgusting.
It's disgusting. Where are 200,000 in 12 months? In 1 year. 1,200,000 on one small island. Here's another one. This is in Germany. That's in Germany. You see that? Here's another one. This is in London. In London Stand, the capital of...
Oh, I saw that. I saw that for sure.
So I have a question for you. Do you think if there is an ambulance that needs to come through with a woman who is pregnant or is having a complication and she needs to get to the hospital, you think they're letting them through?
Nope.
No, they're not. They're not because they believe that they're suffering.
They will not care. They will worry about themselves. They are suffering. They want justice. They do not give a shit.
This is in Spain. It's like a delivery, as on Prime. Where are the women? Where are the kids? And so-called need all this help. There aren't any. Hold on. The Spanish government, led by the socialists, are going to take them in.
God, that was loud.
In Italy, this is the protest they're doing. And it's actual people, it's women, it's children, it's people in that community saying we want them out because all they bring is crime, degeneracy, rape, drugs.
You know, yeah, like I've seen this so many times with like minorities too. If we were to mention that you guys are bringing in crime and filth and disgust,
look at Denmark.
Their counter argument.
Denmark. Peacefully. They can do this peacefully. But in Ireland, there's an anti-protest to this. And what do they say? You guys have to go to jail. You guys are hate speakers. You guys are racist. Look at this bullshit. Oh, they have the right to do everything they want, but you can't protest against it.
Me as a freedom fighter, I am not afraid to lose my job. I'm not afraid to lose my house. I am not afraid to be on the road because it's definitely no worse than what is happening in Gaza at the moment. So
Suck my dick.
Yeah, that's just cultural. She's stealing. Here's this lady stealing.
No, stay. No, stay. No walking. Stop. You've all stolen the shop. You're all getting arrested now. Gardy on way. Gardy is on the way. Guard is on the way. You stole that bag. Where's your receipt?
Where's your receipt?
Where's your receipt?
Where's your receipt?
Show me the receipt.
Yeah,
No, you did.
English, we heard you. No, wait here.
You're all robbed. Show me receipt. Or give me back everything you stole.
Piece of paper you buy.
Did you rob those?
Yeah, see, they just stole it, and they're like, no.
Medicina no bono. Biggie boss petrol no bono. Peki, no pocket money. No pocket money.
Da quanto tempo? 3 mesi.
Sì, no pocket money. No.
They come here and they want water, they want good food, they want a good hotel, they want money. Why can't you go home? Where you have a home, where you have food, where you have water. Because you notice how black people nowadays like to act like Africa's like this rich country now, this rich continent, like it has a lot of stuff now.
It's not.
But it's not. But they say they hate it when you say it's not, but they want to go to Europe and say that it's not. They're hypocrites. Look at Amsterdam. Look at the streets of Amsterdam. These are the streets of Amsterdam.
Aren't there like a lot of prostitution in Amsterdam?
Well, there's a red light district, which is legal. This is Scotland. Those are kids. They shouldn't be thinking of sex.
Yeah, come with it and burn that shit alive.
That's in New York.
I saw that. Yeah, that's in New York.
Look at Allah's army. They're leaving Libya to go to Italy. Oh, you see these women, you see these kids. Look at all that.
No women, no nothing. That's fine.
Look at all those beds.
Get rid of that shit in your head.
Don't mess with us.
We need more people like that.
Mess with the
We need more
wrong
people like
sound.
that, honestly.
This is French protest. They're saying Islam out of Europe.
Keep it.
This is the
What the
park in
fuck
London.
are they doing?
This is a park in London. Here's another one in Copenhagen. This is in Denmark.
Oh.
And they can do that with no problem. Oh, remember there was a young boy, a 16-year-old boy named Thomas, killed by Muslim immigrants because he was white and European in France. Those are French people protesting now.
Where is this again?
That's in Paris.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Paris has a lot of shit as
Yeah.
well.
This is more images of a Dublin hotel hosting immigrants after the Algerians stabbed the Irish children.
Oh, here is like a market. What is all this? Is it Dublin? This is seafood, burger. What is this? Sea burger. This is it. They bring out food, everything. Oh my God.
Yeah, good. Get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Make
So
it to a point. Make it to a point where they can't bear the living anymore. You know how it does also in New York City. Like immigrants, they were complaining about how they're sleeping in the street in the cold, barely any food.
remember they were complaining about like,
Make
oh,
it
the hotel's
sufferable.
not nice enough. We want a better hotel.
Yeah, like get the fuck out of here. Make
Yeah,
it
go to
sufferable for
Canada.
them.
But no, it's like, no, we need a better hotel.
Oh my God, if Trump becomes president again and
Look at this. The
mass
same island,
deports all of them, that'll be so fucking
Lampedusa,
good.
Italy.
Call me.
Look at this. Look at that. Mohammed not welcome here. This is Warsaw, Poland. A protest. Mohammed not welcome.
Oh, I saw
But
that one.
yeah, they're not compatible. They're not aligned.
No, yeah, it's my people.
You saw what he was doing.
I know you do, man. Don't do that.
That's here in
Don't
America.
do that, man. Don't do that.
Yeah, this is America.
Who's going after his balls? You notice that?
Yeah.
Bloody banjo! Bloody banjo!
Okay, brother. Okay.
Smacking his ass.
Whooping his ass. That's called whooping your ass.
Whooping his ass.
That's called. I know you do, man. Don't do that.
Wait,
Don't do that, man.
what's the title? The cultural enricher is told
Cultural,
that
yeah.
he must not steal.
Because you know how they're like, they're not immigrants. They're here to enrich our culture because diversity. They enrich our culture when you have diverse people. That's the bullshit they've sent in Europe. So like, now you can't park in the space. You have to, because they have to pray in the parking space. Like, well, this is religion. Like, no, get the fuck out of here. Here's the Pope with all the trans. What a faggot. The fuck is this? Oh yeah, here it is. Here's a guy they redid an art. There's Madonna with a trans Jesus.
What the fuck? Oh, I want to slap him so fucking bad. That's the ugliest looking motherfucker out there.
He has a tattoo of Jesus Christ and he's trans.
En 2023, on peut accepter de laisser des gens dormir dehors. C'est inadmissible. Peut-être qu'il fait beau, mais regardez l'hygiène. C'est incroyable. On est à Paris. On est en 2023, on est en France. Et on laisse des gens dormir dans la rue. Qu'est-ce qu'elle fout, la mairie de Paris, hein? On se le demande, hein. Vraiment, c'est inadmissible. C'est incroyable. Et il y en a partout, sur au moins 1 kilomètre, tout le pont, là.
Look at that. All of
Yeah, and it's racist to say Irish lives matter. What the fuck is going on?
Irish lives matter.
What the fuck is going on up there? What the hell is that?
I guess they found her eating pork. 4 babies on the floor.
All I see is a bunch of shadows.
It just looks like a bunch of like bed sheets, black bed sheets and black towels.
Demande, hein.
Darkness fighting
Vraiment,
each
c'est
other.
So that like just the same thing. Look at this. Look at all these. In Germany, there are around 3,000 mosques. Why do they pray? But why did they want to pray with an amplified loudspeaker in a pre-Christian Christmas celebration?
What the fuck?
There are 3,000 mosques, but they want to do that in public. German police educate violent Muslim immigrants.
Good. Good. Beat their ass up.
No, because he thought he was doing the thing.
Yeah, I saw that.
He's off it. That'd be you. That'd definitely be you. Just
Okay,
swinging
go
that
back
shit.
to it. Go back to it again. Go back
It's
to it
just on
again.
the beginning. Yeah, let me go back. So he's just swinging that shit. Look at him. He's just like, that would have been you, dude. Like, get the fuck out of the way. Get the fuck.
Yeah,
Yeah,
stupefy.
Irish lives matter. But this is racist. But when they come in and say Allahu Akbar, you know, oh, they can't. So they're getting chased with.
Cos'è che fanno? Perché arrivano qua questi? Guarda che ci legnano noi. Cos'è che fanno?
Why this one shouldn't see? Now he's gonna get This is the mayor of a
Oh yeah, I was trying to look for him.
You know, I looks different color, but people doesn't give me vote because of the Muslim or I'm different color. People, you know, vote for me. Anybody from any color, any religion, you know. That's why I'm not representative of the Muslim. I'm not representative of the migrant. I'm representative of the Limerick City Council. I looks different color, but
what did he
Get the
say?
fuck
He was
outta
like, I would like to see them shot, hanged, and beaten to death. Are the words of Azad Tulakadar, a Bengali Muslim, inexplicably elected the mayor of an Irish city. Yeah, it's like, how? Look at this. You can't pass. Try again later. You're praying in an alley. In New York City. We've seen these.
Oh yeah, I think I saw that one too.
Well, good, man. Treat them just like the ones in Germany. They beat their ass.
Who the fuck was that faggot? Get rid of that thing, that
That's
fucking
you, bro.
retard.
That's you.
I can't fit in there.
There are over 1,600 mosques in the UK. Why do they pray in the streets in proximity?
وفي كل مكان يا ذا الجلال والإكرام.
Bruh. Look at this guy.
I saw that one.
Yeah, you definitely like that guy.
Bruh.
Let's see, what's another one? You'll see this last one before. In Japan, you see what they did? Long live the emperor. The Japanese is for the Japanese.
What are they dealing with?
It's in Japan. Wait, was there an American flag in there? That's the Japanese rising sun. Never mind. That's rising sun. Yeah, well, see, they're just saying, you know.
Wait, what are they dealing with? Muslim migration?
Well, there are calls for people to like bring them in and bring refugees from like Palestine and shit, and they're like, no. They're like, no.
I'm trying to see how many mosques are there in America.
Oh, I don't know, like 7,000.
Yeah, it has to be a lot. In 2017, there were 3.5 million Muslims in the United States, making up 1.1% of the total population. First mosque in the U.S. was in Bedford, Maine.
There are almost 3,000 mosques built spread out across the United States. Now imagine there are 3,000 mosques here, and there are over 1,500 mosques in the United Kingdom.
Yeah, and it's not big like America. Yeah. New York is number one with 257, California 246, Texas 166, Florida 118, Illinois 109, New Jersey 109.
Those people want to. Those are invaders. They're not here for cultural enrichment or to work like prior generations. They're here to conquer. They want to spread their thing. They want to steal. They want to steal. They want to live off the government, live off the people. They don't. They're not there to work or bring their family. These are young men here to spread their disease, which is this radical Islam. And Islam is
they're
a
not land conquerors.
Islam is a religion that encourages, and you have to invade. You have to do that. That's what they do there. You have to. That's their goal. And they're envious of our society. That's why the Ottoman emperors, the Ottoman sultans, they always had a European wife. Always had a European wife. Because they looked better, they didn't wear the head wraps, and they had better manners and better thoughts, and they were highly intelligent because they can get educated in our society. And that's what they're envious of. And the fact that they're sending young men, military age men, is a thing. Ban it. I would ban it if I was in there. We're not letting in a single one. They're not. This Belgium is for the Belgians, France is for the French, Netherlands is for the Dutch, Spanish for the Spanish. I'm sorry, that's how it is. Because you know what they say? Turkey is for the Turkish. Palestine is for the Palestinians. You think they're letting in a bunch of Belgians? No. They want the Belgian women. It's just like black people. Black people, they hate white people, but they want snow bunnies. They want white women. That's what they want. They want white girls and they want Hispanic girls.
Yeah, they want
See?
white girls.
That's what they do. It's all hypocrisy. White people, though, they're all opening. They're all welcoming. Oh, yeah, come in. But they don't realize that those people hate them. That's why I would never let any of them in. Don't let any of them in. Fuck them. That's it. All right, yeah. So let's end here because we're pretty much at the end of the show. So we're gonna end here. Again, hope you guys enjoyed. Like, subscribe, check out our stuff. We're gonna be sending out clips of our episodes, so you don't have to watch the whole thing, but we suggest you do. But if you don't, we'll be sending out each segment out. We'll be switching our video platform. Okay, so if you guys want to see a more professional show, or we will be switching over to that soon. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Like, subscribe, tell your friends if they want to hear someone tell the truth on situations going around the world. If you don't want to hear the same garbage verbatim that you hear on the networks and from the lefties and progressives that dominate the news and media space, we're your guys. We're the guys here telling you the truth, uncensored, unfiltered, uncut, what you want to hear, what you got to hear. Right here every week.
Yep.
So like, subscribe, follow us. And if you really want to help us, just subscribe to our Patreon. That donation of $5 a month will really help us continue spreading this message. And the link is down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. See you guys next time.